Thanks, Belinda. Hi, everybody. My name is Jakira. I'm the social economy lead for the Initiative for Social Entrepreneurs. And we have a star-studded lineup for you today. So please, another welcome to our panel. We have Drew Currie, Interim Chief Executive and founder of Henriette iSE. A round of applause, please. We have Joanne Anderson, who is the founder of Innovision Consultancy, the first black social enterprise in Liverpool, and former mayor of Liverpool, the first black minority ethnic female mayor in Europe. We also have Henriette Breukelaar, who is the regional director for the West Midlands for the Canal and River Trust, and former CEO of the Greater Birmingham Solihull Enterprise Partnership. Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. So today's session is all about women delivering social impact and men delivering social impact. So my first question to the panel, as an opener, is what made you or inspired you to pursue a career in social impact? And I'd like to ask all members of the panel this question. So maybe we'll start off with Henriette.
Jakira, I think it was built into me. I think for as long as I can remember, I've been a child and then subsequently a person who thought, I want to make an impact that reaches beyond me and my direct circle. So I never knew it would be a career, but I always knew that whatever I was going to do in life, it would have to have an impact beyond. And I think I've also been quite conscious that our journey on this earth is a story, if you like, and at some point you want to look back on that story, and I want to be able to think I've really done my best to make this place a little bit better than it would have been without me.
Thanks, Ed. Joanne, yeah, it would.
Thank you. Like Henriette, I think it was something that I was born into. My mother ran the local Citizens Advice Bureau, and my auntie had the local sweet shop. So community business felt like home. Both centred the communities for very different reasons. One, you could always get bread and milk on tick till you got paid at the end of the week. The other one would fight with the local police if they harassed you. So I just think I've grown up around a very heavy political but also community-centred women in our local community.
How I got into social entrepreneurship is I was just angry a lot of the time. I'd see stuff around me and I'm like, oh, that's so frustrating. Somebody does something and it's stupid, or people telling me what I should be thinking. So then I thought, surround myself with some wonderful, wonderful people who aligned with my values so that we could start delivering. I have to say, I'm not supposed to be on this panel. This panel was supposed to have Councillor Sharon Thompson. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it today. So I'm stepping in for her. And I just want to say, I'm surrounded by some of my idols. This lady on my left, the first black female elected mayor in Europe. In Europe. Oh, I'm absolutely speechless. And she's come all the way down from Liverpool to speak to us today. And some of the work that she's doing around supporting women is unbelievable. Follow her on LinkedIn, and then you'll see all the work that she's doing.
Thanks, Drew. My second question actually is again to all of you. Women have inspired for generations and throughout history. And I'd like to know personally for you, who was it that inspired you in this journey? I know it's quite a personal question, but I always think that personal questions are the ones that really resonate. So, yeah, Henriette.
So that's a really easy one for me, and it is my nan, who would have turned 120 next month. And she was a farmer's daughter. Her dad grew white cabbage in the Netherlands. And in her teens, she persuaded her parents to allow her to drop out of school so she could sell white cabbage across Europe, and even went into Russia in her late teens. In her 20s, her sister died, and subsequently her brother-in-law died. And she very quickly, just before he passed away, married her brother-in-law so she could become the mother to the two small orphaned kids, my dad and my aunt. By then, she'd managed to turn the farm, the cabbage farm, into a sauerkraut factory. And she became a single mum and remained a single mum and then single grandmother, single great-grandmother for the rest of her life. She was 35 when the Second World War started and very quickly saw the injustices and dedicated her life and her home to the resistance, opened up our house to store illegal documents and allowed people to hide. She spent months in Nazi prisons, was tortured, was up for execution at one point, but thankfully and miraculously survived. I knew her when she was in her 70s, 80s, and I loved her stories. And I really loved it when she took me into her bedroom and showed me her secret metal lunchbox with the gun and the illegal ID documents in, which I now think was a little bit irresponsible, but she was proper gangster granny. And I think she sent me this subliminal message that there is literally nothing you cannot do as a woman and as a mother and as a single mother at that. So if she could do it 120 years ago, then we should definitely be able to do it now. So I'm still inspired by her.
Thanks, Anne.
Wow. So I've got to say my mother's been my greatest inspiration. In Liverpool, we have a lot of mixed-race children and families. In fact, the first couple I seen who were both black was in Birmingham when I was about 15. I'd never actually seen a black couple together, which I know sounds strange, but that's Liverpool and Liverpool's history. So my mum was a white woman who had a black baby at 17. And so she's told me stories subsequently that she just tried to work as much as she could so the baby, me, wouldn't get taken off her. And I just thought how awful it must have been for her to be sort of in that environment. Way more politically understanding around race and race relations than actually my own father. And being an unmarried mother at 17 was up for a lot of criticism. She volunteered in a local Citizens Advice Bureau. She set up the first credit union in Liverpool because people were going to loan sharks. She fought and campaigned for everyone. And then just as I needed her for the first time in my life, because I just had a baby, she became a tribunal chair, so become a judge and retired as a judge a couple of years ago. And so from that very sort of start, leaving school at 14, pregnant at 17, you know, single parent family, and a lot of sort of external societal pressure that would said she wouldn't amount to much. She really, you know, turns her life around, but in that supported everybody else along the way, which is what I'm very proud of.
My biggest, influence is probably now going to be Henriette's great-grandma. Grandmother, because that's an incredible story. But I'd probably say my sister, my mother died when we were young, 6 years old, and my sister, even though she was a year older, she almost took over that maternal kind of role all the way through, and she's always been somebody that I've looked up to. And when she did her 12 plus, and she ended up going to this grammar school, and I was so proud of her because I thought, wow, this is the first time that anybody in our family had been to grammar school, and she was the first one that went to university. And I had a conversation with her only a few years back, and I talked to her about how proud I was that she'd gone to this grammar school. And she said, it was the worst time of my life. And sometimes when you are the first, you know that you are going to have lots and lots and lots of problems. And so what that did, that just reinforced the kind of the thoughts I had of how powerful a woman that she was, that she still carried on being a light in my life, even though there was darkness around her.
Thanks. Yeah, this really resonates with me because actually my most inspirational figure is my mum, who raised 6 of us by herself in inner city Birmingham in actually Small Heath. So if you're from Small Heath, you'll know. And it was tough. But my mum is an absolute powerhouse of a woman. So I really hear you when you talk about your inspirational women. Jo, I'm going to come to you now. Your amazing credentials, right? First, lots of firsts and everything. First black female mayor in Europe, elected in Europe. First black social enterprise. You've set up also a network called BLAST, which is Black Social Trading Network. And you're also setting up a social investment pathfinder and leading that. My God, how do you have time for anything is what I want to know. But in this journey, you must have faced obstacles, inevitably. How did you overcome them? And what would be your advice for women really taking the leap of faith and pursuing a career in social impact?
I don't really have a work-life balance, let's just say that. And I did have some days off recently, and I spent the day on TikTok, so I think I'm much better placed focusing on social enterprise. Yeah, I'm not married. I think that, it makes life a bit easier in terms of I've nothing to worry about. My son's just left university, so if I want to work till 10 o'clock at night, I can. I'm not worrying about anything else. So my passion around source of support and social businesses, I set up the first black social enterprise, but pretty much felt like home because of my background. The term was new. We were called Social Enterprise Mafia in Liverpool at the time. There was a lot of support actually in the early 2000s, lots of European funding, lots of support around social enterprises. I wasn't in with the social enterprise gang in Liverpool. I was supported by the two biggest and best social enterprises who everyone else hated. So I just thought, well, I'll stick with them because they're really successful. But what that means is Liverpool can be very cliquey and not supportive. And, for a long time, people just didn't play with me, not because I wasn't doing a good job, not because I wasn't doing great work, but I wasn't in the clique. I'm very values driven, so I definitely have lost work because of my values. I've definitely made a few enemies because of my values, but I'm happy I can look myself in the mirror at the end of the night and say, I'm happy with me. So I was asked to work for Kindred, which is a local social investment pot in Liverpool just before lockdown, and as lockdown come in, and because I was on the team, the first round of investment, 33% who went forwards were from black and ethnic minority-led organisations, and the team recognised and said, that's because you're on the team, that's why that happened. So we set up a Black Social Traders Network, and we just needed to support each other, particularly as we have some philosophical things that help overcome them barriers. So we try to give work to each other, again, not because we're friends, but because they're the best. And we try to give peer support and lean on each other. We try to create a community rather than just a social investment pot. And that's what we've managed to do. So we grew from 150 socially trading organisations to 1,000, and 250 of them are from black and ethnic minority-led organisations. And so our investment was a £5 million pot. I've been employed as the project director to make that 50 million, but I'm making sure a quarter of that goes to black and ethnic minority-led organisations. So 12.5 million will go to black and ethnic minority-led. You never asked me about that. You asked me about barriers, didn't you? So I'll go back to that. So yeah, the cliques have been a major barrier. And also, again, only being mayor, what people might not realise is the previous mayor of Liverpool was also called Joe Anderson, and he got arrested. So there was political upheaval in Liverpool, and that's how I ended up going for this position that I had no interest in at all whatsoever. So barriers were in the Labour Party. My family and friends campaigned for me. Some Labour Party members I could rely on, but also the narrative I've been told about the Labour Party being for equality and supporting black people, that really didn't come to fruition. I also made no friends in the Labour Party while I was mayor, and I'm very proud of that, actually. But I wasn't doing it for the Labour Party, I was doing it for my city. So actually, people have kind of pretending I no longer exist since it's over. Not really a barrier. barrier for me in the sense that just get me head down and carry on, but they're enemies I choose to have. I'm more than happy about it. But certainly, if you're a people pleaser, which I'm not, you'd be upset at the moment if you were me. But fortunately, I'm not a people pleaser. And my advice to anyone, if you're a people pleaser, do not go into politics because you just don't please people.
Actually, Jo, on politics, actually, what breakthroughs have you seen, if any, in politics? Women in politics.
Well, I'm delighted Sharon is the deputy mayor in the region. I think it's really important to support other black women. So me and Sharon have sort of followed each other and said hi to each other, congratulations. I think that's really what we should be doing to other black women, to other women generally. So in terms of the breakthrough, when women do get through to a position, sometimes there can be a backlash. And I think it's really important that we support people. But I'm really proud of Sharon being deputy mayor. Hopefully Metro mayor one day. She mightn't thank me for that, but hopefully.
And do you think we'll have female leading prime minister? Well, we have had, but not of ethnic minority.
Well, the Tory party haven't they? So I think that's a bit worrying. I think it's about time we had a woman leading in the Labour Party, not just nationally, but in many places. So I think it's time.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jo. Henriette, you have had an amazing career spanning supporting startups, strategic partnerships, transnational innovation partnerships. You've got a different perspective in terms of both the UK as well as your international experience. How has that shaped your views and perspectives on women delivering social impact and women in social impact?
So my career is an entire consequence of coincidence. So I've never had a plan. I rolled into a career in the Netherlands in community cohesion and race equality because I'm a linguist and I speak Turkish, Arabic, Spanish and French. So in Holland, North African and Turkish communities are really large communities. I'd always volunteered in the local mosque. So that was a logical consequence. Then I fell in love with a lad from Wolverhampton. So I traded Amsterdam for Wolverhampton. That wasn't the plan. It must have been love. It didn't last forever, but hey ho. And I thought, well, I can't go into community cohesion here. I speak the wrong languages. I don't know this society. So I had a master's degree in economics, which was never what I was really interested in, but it came in quite handy. So I kind of fell into regional economic development, then found sustainable development in the environment as something I really care about. I then moved from that into transnational innovation. I did 5 years in housing with care and elderly care, which I loved with a passion. If it hadn't been for the daily car commute, which ruined my work-life balance, I would have probably not left. And then I joined the LEP and now I'm knee-deep into mud on a regular basis in the Canal and River Trust. So my career has me, and as Drew know, I seriously toyed with the idea of becoming a plumber and did a plumbing course only about 12 months ago. So I've got no plan. And as a woman, and I've grown up thinking, as a woman, there shouldn't be any barriers from being a woman. I've grown up with brothers, and I do find that the impact you make in the settings where the impact is most needed, so in those very environments where we might think, a bit like your sister at the grammar school, where you come in and you think, am I the only woman in a senior position, or am I a little bit of the odd one out, is probably where you can make a real impact, because you can be disruptive just by being yourself. So I think that for me has been a real lesson. Stick to your values, stick to your to who you really are. And I am a people pleaser by nature, but I found the menopause a very welcome deviation from being a people pleaser, because I really don't care anymore.
Here. Henriette, on that track of values, I know you're doing a lot to recruit women volunteers. So maybe you want to say a bit more about how you're doing that and why you think it's important.
Yes, so the Canal and River Trust is quite a big charity, 1,800 paid staff, 5,500 volunteers. In my team, I've got in the region of 150 paid staff and 1,250 volunteers. So without volunteers, we couldn't do and be what we do and are. So we've just launched, 95% of our staff are white. And I know that's not by design. I've been in the organisation for 10 months. I think it's partly the nature of the work, and 85% of our staff are male. And a lot of people are over the age of 50, and that's similar for our volunteers as well. A lot of people who took early retirement, maybe had a career in engineering, but we really want to recruit people from a more diverse background. We want to have more women, more younger people, people from different backgrounds who can add tremendous value to the trust. So we've just done a recruitment campaign, and there were things like that are maybe disruptive in the setting of the trust, even though they're not disruptive for most of us, which is make sure your imagery reflects that diversity that you want to attract, and make sure you don't just show women in volunteer or paid roles that are to do with classroom activities on water safety, for example. Show women replacing a 3-ton lock gate. Show women doing the brickwork, being in or around the canal engineering side of things. But also there were aspects we've had to change where if you order a uniform and all the sizes are men's sizes and you turn up to work looking like you've had a go at your nan's dressing up box, that's not motivating. And if the toilets on the workboats and the yards haven't got a sanitary bin, that's not motivating. And again, at a certain age and with a certain level of confidence, you kind of brush it off or maybe highlight it and say, well, this isn't good enough. But if you're not at that stage yet and you're at the start of your career, that might persuade you that this isn't quite for you, because obviously the organisation isn't built for you. So there's a lot we do. We've had 600 applications, which is fantastic for a diversity of roles, including engineering. So it's a trajectory we're on that we're definitely going to continue on. And if any of you are interested in volunteering with the Canal and River Trust, then please do, because we're ready for you now.
Thanks, Ed. Drew, as the chief exec of iSE and the founder of Hibret One, so iSE has a women's enterprise hub, if you didn't know, that's in Sparkbrook, Liverpool Road. How are you supporting particularly women and women of colour in terms of the work that you're doing?
Mine is quite simple, really. Just empower women, step back and give the women the opportunity to make the world great. Wouldn't the world be so much better if it was women that were running it? I don't think a woman said, oh, let's go into Gaza. Oh, let's overtake Ukraine. It just does not happen. So the more women that I can support and empower, it just makes my life much easier.
What are you doing particularly in the Women's Enterprise Hub? So talk us through some of the programs that we're running.
You know, it's a tough one, because I'm just doing what we should be doing anyway. It's like breathing. You know, I can't say, oh, we're supporting women, helping them to start businesses so they can create generational wealth. We're doing programs around health and well-being. We've just launched a program around diabetes, because we know that type 2 diabetes affects ethnic minorities more so than the general population. We're doing stuff around, what else are women? Loads. You know, we've got 95% of our tenants in the community hub are female-led enterprises. We're sponsoring this as iSE. Everything we do is underpinned by women first, and then intersectionally everything after that. Everything. I wasn't even, as I said, I wasn't even supposed to be on this panel. It was supposed to be some great, great women. What about yourself? What are you doing?
To support women? Well, I'm working with the Initiative for Social Entrepreneurs. I also work with another organisation called Social Enterprise Academy. And it's all about women, women in leadership, women in enterprise, women internationally making a difference. So, yeah. Enough about me, though. This is about you. Enough of the questions from me. I really think you might have some burning questions from the audience. So I'd like to give the floor to the audience, and feel free to ask any questions that you might have in terms of anything that you've heard from our great panel here.
Any questions? Or I'll pick one out. Show of hands, any questions? This is Joe Anderson. Eurovision. Brought Eurovision to Liverpool.
Amazing. If you want to stand up and introduce yourself as well. Come on, you got to stand up.
Hello, my name's Alina. I'm a public health graduate. I am interested in public health opportunities and work, and I've been applying for local councils. I understand that I'm from Wolverhampton, one of the most deprived areas in the UK. And my mum's from Liverpool, and that's also one of the most highest rates of deprivation. How is the council and how are our local schemes engaging in our community to improve our healthcare and improve our local areas, and how can we make a social impact as residents of these areas?
Great, thanks, Alina. Any other questions before we get the panel to ask? Any other questions?
Hi, my name is Davina. I'm a second year international relations and development student, and I'm also from Liverpool. One question I would ask is, in terms of creating social impact, what advice would you give, especially when you're not sure if the combination that you're trying to put together is going to work? I think because I'm in development and I want to go into creative arts, I'm not sure how I can piece the two together. So what kind of advice would you give with that?
Great, thank you. Any other questions?
We wouldn't have time for other questions.
Just one more.
We've run over time.
Okay, all right. So the health schemes question and what schemes are available. I think, Henriette, if you take that one, is that something that you can answer?
What I would say is public health. I can't speak for local government, but certainly think of public health in quite a broad sense. I would say the role I'm in right now has got a real public health component, because something as seemingly simple as going out, spending some time in the fresh air around nature and having some exercise is a foolproof recipe for improved mental and physical health. And there's a lot of things we do, for example, walking with doctors, take people onto a towpath, walk with a local GP. We're working with Jude's pharmacies at the moment to roll that out to walking with pharmacists as well. So there's definitely, if you're interested, very happy to talk to you, because we're doing a lot in Bilston, Walsall, Sandwell, Wolverhampton. So definitely keen to talk to you if you're interested.
Great, thanks, Henriette. All right, I know we're up, but Joe, if you could answer maybe that question around, so it was international development, social impact and creativity, and how do you bring those together?
Hi, Davina. I couldn't recognise you from your photo. I just wanted to jump in on public health a moment, though. That budget was raised quite a lot from a city council perspective. I think what was very directed were national initiatives by government. So I think if you've got something burning that you want to do around public health, I would suggest you just get on and do it within your community and, try to go for funding or whatever afterwards. I think it's very restricted, I think, despite being, when public health initiatives first come in, very innovative. At the time, I know Liverpool was kind of at the forefront because of the poor housing and things like that. But I just see from a council perspective a whole lot of bureaucracy and difficulty being innovative. And then over to you, Davina. My son's an artist, and I just would absolutely love to have some level of creativity in my body, which I don't have. creativity and arts and culture are actually fantastic for making an impact on people's mental health and well-being. Doing what you love and getting on with that. A lot of our Black-led social enterprises in Liverpool are in arts and culture and education, and they flip between health and well-being, arts and culture, and dance and movements and those sorts of things. So I would stick with what you love and what you know best, and I think you can ensure that you have an impact with that, because health and well-being and arts and culture are very highly connected and close.
Thanks, Joe. Unfortunately, I think, time's out. But again, thanks to our great panel, Drew, Joe and Henriette. A round of applause, please. Thank you.